Hey, Jason Delgado here. I want to talk about Scream 7, all the controversy, um, all the all the thoughts about it. I have a lot of thoughts about Scream 7. I'll try to keep the non-spoiler parts in the beginning. I'll tell you guys when I get into spoilers. But I have a lot to say about Scream and what's going on with the franchise. I when the first Scream came out, I was in high school. I saw it in high school. Absolutely loved it. It was genius. Kevin Williamson was the writer. He had all kinds of meta references, all kinds of references about horror movies. It was smart, it was witty, it was fun, it was scary, it was shocking with Drew Barrymore dying in the very beginning. Wes Craven was at the top of his game. He delivered the suspense. It was just one of the all-time great horror movies, Scream 1. And possibly my favorite horror movie of all time, up there with John Carpenter's original Halloween. Those two, those two are always one and two in my books. And Scream 2, I was in college when Scream 2 came out. Absolutely loved it. Another classic. Wes Craven still doing amazing stuff. The cast, Nev Campbell, Jerry O'Connell doing his singing scene that gets panned by a lot of people. But you say, Scream 7 made, what was it, $97 million, the biggest opening in Scream history. What are you talking about, Jason? You're talking about Scream being dead? You crazy? And I don't look at the opening numbers for a film as a way to judge the film of how people loved it because Scream 7 films, it's been going on for a while. People want to go out and see what's going on. There was controversy that happened with this movie. People want to see if it overcame the controversy. Um, you know, in Scream 6, there was controversy because Nev Campbell didn't get paid. She dropped out because Spyglass lowballed her, and she said, "I'm not going to come back if they don't pay me," which uh, understandable. She's a star. She's great. She doesn't want to do something because she's not paid. All the more power to her. And they were going in a different direction with Scream. They had radio silence. The filmmakers who made 5 and 6. To be honest with you, Scream 5 was not one of my favorite movies because it was a requel, which they made fun of in the movie about how it was a requel, like Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It tries to be a sequel and a remake at the same time. I am not a fan of those types of movies, so Scream 5 was not it for me. I really loved Scream 6. You can see my review at filmthreat.com. I felt like Scream 6 was original. It had a different setting in New York. They had never been in a big city before. It was always small town. They changed how Ghostface operates. He had a shotgun, to much controversy in that film that he used a little bit. They changed things up. They kept it fresh. Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, the new cast were taking it to a different place than Sydney. Sydney was the old story. We loved Sydney. It was time to move on from Sydney, and that's what they were doing with Scream 5 and 6. And I felt like they had finally figured that out with Scream 6, and they were moving in the right direction. It was a fresh place. And then the controversy happens before Scream 7 starts, where Melissa Barrera sends a tweet supporting Palestine. It wasn't even a controversial tweet. It was just about supporting them and nothing hateful like other people have been fired for. Nothing crazy. Just she wanted these people to not be killed, you know? And so Spyglass Entertainment slash Paramount they fired Melissa for supporting a group of people, for putting out how she felt about them. And I thought that was wrong. I thought that was wrong, cowardly. You know, if the, if Spyglass has a certain view, though, that's their right. They can hire and fire whoever they want to. But it's pretty weak. It's weak. It's the star of your movie, and you take her out for supporting a group of people. Okay. And Jenna Ortega walks out the door because she's supporting her friend. She said it was due to scheduling conflicts because she was doing Wednesday for Netflix, but she dropped out because she was supporting her friend. So that right there puts the whole Scream franchise in peril. So what does Spyglass do? They go back with their tail between their legs and they give Nev Campbell a bag of money to come back. So they come back. They bring Kevin Williamson back, the screenwriter for the first Screams. They make him the director, co-writer. They say, "Okay, come save us." And that's the setup for how everything started with Scream 7. Now, I'm going to start getting into the spoilers in a minute. I'll tell you my thoughts on Scream 7 first without spoiling it. And hey, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about Scream 7. If you thought that Spyglass handled this all wrong, like I did. But so Scream 7, I love Sidney Prescott. I love Nev Campbell. Like I said, I saw those original movies when they came out, and those are my favorite horror movies of all time. So of course I'm gonna go watch it. Even though I don't agree with what they did to Melissa Barrera. I've met many of the cast and filmmakers involved with Scream. I, Wes Craven, I spent over 6 hours with in college. He came to my college classes. I can't say enough great things about Wes Craven. Smart, funny, honest, raw, just as a person, just an amazing person, let alone filmmaker, one of the greatest filmmakers. And people will say he's a horror master and box him into horror. He can do more than horror, but just one of the all-time greats. So I want Scream to succeed despite the way they handled things, despite what they did to Melissa. I like Melissa. I've met her. Great person. Want success for them all. So I tried to go into Scream 7 with a clear, I went in without a bias, and I want Kevin Williamson to succeed as well. I've met him. I wanted him to take the franchise at least back to the level of success that Wes Craven had established. And I'm watching Scream 7. I'm thinking, okay, it's going along. It's like, this is okay. I like seeing Sydney back. That's fine. But there's nothing new. There's nothing new, guys. And what's missing from those original Scream movies that Kevin Williamson infused in them, which I was shocked. There was no meta commentary. There was no commentary on the horror genre as a whole. There was nothing of that. In fact, there was nothing original at all. But I'm watching it. It's going along. I enjoyed the opening scene. I thought it was okay, where these fans go into their original Woodsboro house, and there's an animatronic there, and the guy is all excited. He's in the original Scream house that Stu and Billy killed in and chased Sid around in. And it's kind of cool. The house burns down, they get killed, but it has nothing to do at all with the rest of the movie. What did that have to do other than, oh, let's have the house burn down. Let's remind you of how great that original movie was. And it was great. And but you're not breaking any new ground here. which was a metaphor for all of Scream 7. It didn't break any new ground at all. It just retreaded past ideas. Uh, it showed Sid's mother and daughter relationship, but did we need to see that? Was that something we needed from the Scream franchise? I don't think so. It didn't really add much to the whole series. And then to top it all off, you have an ending that is absolutely ridiculous. That if you were watching Scooby Doo, you'd be like, man, this was terrible. I figured out who the killers were. You know, the Scream franchise is supposed to be this great whodunit series, and it has been. And you end it with, Scream 7 ends with this terrible, the worst killers in the franchise history, who you could have easily spotted and said, hey, these are the guys, but they barely had any screen time. But it was easily the worst Scream movie I've ever seen out of a franchise that's had ups and downs. Scream 1 and 2 are the best films in the franchise, easily for me. And after that, I really enjoyed Scream 6, the freshness and the direction that they were taking that franchise, and to move on from Sydney and to have some young stars and Melissa and Jenna to take over the mantle, and Radio Silence coming up with new things, new, fresh ideas, fresh settings, fresh things for Ghostface to do. And they had more of these. And you throw it all away over one tweet, you know, one tweet in this franchise, all the fresh ideas, all the direction you could have taken, the way that Melissa Brera, her character Sam, you know, she had her dad was Stu, and he had that really cool, like kind of Star Wars, Star Wars Force Ghost flashbacks, those those little messages she would give Sam to give her the rage she needed to kill the killers. I thought that was really cool in Scream 6 and Scream 5. And you throw that all away. You're saying, okay, now we're gonna bring now you're gonna bring Stu back. I meant Billy if I said Stu before, but spoilers. Now you're gonna bring Stu back in Scream 7. I love Matthew Lillard, so that's another reason for wanting to see this. And the big box office numbers could be curiosity. I had the curiosity. A lot of people did. What's going to happen bringing Stu back, bringing Nev back, all these people. And it was cool to see Stu back. I love Matthew Lillard, but the way that they handled it, spoiler, you know, that he was just AI. And at first they make you think, oh, maybe he's alive. There's a guy escaped from a mental asylum, and he took a big hit to the head, and he forgot who he was. Well, Stu's head got smashed in by a TV in the first. He's getting electrocuted. He got stabbed a bunch of times. They made it so that there's no way that Stu is still alive, and then they're trying to convince you, okay, maybe Stu is still alive. It's completely ridiculous. And then it's okay, he's AI, and Sid's daughter is dating this guy, and in the car near the end of the movie, he's playing along with the AI as Stu, like, oh, I just wanted to try this thing, just as a red herring to make you think, okay, the girl's boyfriend is the killer. But no, he was just some dumbass playing with AI. Ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. And then spoilers, you get to the very end where they unmask the killers, and it's completely Scooby fucking Doo. It's Sid's neighbor, the girl who's in the movie for 2 minutes, and the guy they met at the mental asylum. And you're like, what the hell is this? These are the lamest killers ever. in the girl's motivation is that Sid didn't show up to New York when the murders in Scream 6 were happening. She wasn't there, and she read her book. She loved her, but Sid wasn't there. So I'm gonna kill all these people now. What what the hell is that? Kevin Williamson, man, amazing writer. I don't know what happened, dude. I don't know if they rushed this so much that you weren't able to do anything, or I don't know if you've just lost it, man. Because that was the worst Scream ending of all time in a series that it's a who done it. You got to figure out who did it, and these people are obvious, but in the stupidest ways, man. Like, what the hell is that? And to top it all off, this killer killed her own son in the best. It turned out to be the best kill in Scream 7. They used a beer tap, and the tap is coming out of his mouth after he died. That was cool, but I'll have to say that the rest of the action in this movie, I didn't feel anything. I didn't care about these young teenage characters. They didn't make you care for them. They didn't set them up enough like they did for the other characters in Scream 5 and 6. You actually cared for those young characters that they could have made more movies with. I didn't care about them. There was no suspense because it's like, okay, who cares if they die? Sydney's old. Uh, you know they're not going to kill her off yet, but it's like, okay, she's had her time. Courtney Cox looks like a mummy by now. Like all the plastic surgery she's had, it doesn't even look like her anymore. So it's why the heck did she kill her own son in this movie? If anybody knows, other than the random line she threw out, oh well, he got in the way. Whatever, dude. Your own son got in the way, so you killed him because Sydney didn't show up in New York during the other murders, which had nothing to do with you. Like, what the hell is that? It's complete garbage, and it makes Scream 7 the worst movie in the Scream franchise. It makes me have no interest in future Scream movies, and they're going to make Scream 8 because Scream 7 already made a ton of money this opening weekend, so they're going to make Scream 8. But at this point, I really don't care about Sydney. Uh, she had her time. I loved her character. Nev Campbell's great. She did a great performance in this. I even liked her daughter in this movie, although she was annoying at times with the whole I need to know my mom's history. Like, kids don't care about their parents' history for the most part. But there were so many problems with this movie. It makes me not interested at all. And all the goodwill that Scream 6 gave this franchise, it helped get this franchise the greatest opening it ever had because people enjoyed Scream 6, and they're like, what's going to happen after all this controversy? People went out to see it, and it's a complete disappointment. So what does that mean for Scream 8? A lot of people just aren't going to care about it anymore. Like me, who have been a fan since day one, who Scream 1 is my favorite horror movie of all time. Scream 2 is up there. And now I just don't care anymore. And it's because of Spyglass Entertainment, because of Paramount, because they got rid of their young franchise stars over a tweet supporting a group of people. It wasn't even disparaging, it was support. We want to support these people from not getting killed. And you want to make that into a controversy because you're hateful, or doesn't make sense to me. But complete bullshit. It's cancel culture in the opposite way. And now Paramount's going to own Warner Brothers, and this is going to get even worse. So this is just spiraling down where, and Paramount's already bringing back all these canceled people like Brett Ratner, who sexually assaulted multiple people, Max Landis, all these people who were canceled for the right reasons, for assaulting people and being complete douchebags and assholes. And they're bringing all these people back. Meanwhile, they're going to cancel the people who have an opinion about what's going on in the world. Uh, it's it's dire, guys. Like, I know I put out a video before about what Netflix would do, to buy, the impact they would have of buying Warner Brothers, how that would be bad for film studios because it would mean less movies in because they love streaming. They don't want movies in the box office. And that would have been bad too. But Paramount's even worse, guys. The way that they run things, the way everything's going to be skewed, all the media, and the media is already skewed a certain way, and it's going to become even more that way. So it's pretty dire with Paramount taking over a lot of things. They're going to ruin a lot of franchises. There's already talk that James Gunn is going to step down from DC once Paramount takes over, and I just don't see a silver lining to all this. I know there's people who enjoyed Scream 7 somehow. If you enjoyed it, you hated it, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. But and there were good things. Like, I thought the movie was okay until they completely butchered it with the ending, with the final act. But it still wasn't going to be a movie that I wanted to rewatch, that I had any interest in seeing ever again, because there was nothing new. That it was all ground that had been covered in Scream 1 through 6, and you're taking away the meta commentary that exploded the franchise. You're taking away the originality. The Screams had the original Screams had great casts. Rose McGovern, who gets mentioned a lot because Tatum, Sid's daughter, has the same name. But Scream 7, Joel McHale was okay. He's not someone I'm going to run out and see in a horror franchise. I like his comedy, but he didn't do anything for me in this movie. That most of this cast, and it was weird seeing two members of the core four back without the rest of the core four, and you're not talking about the core four, which is really weird. Just so many weird things that didn't make sense in Scream 7, which it just sucks. A franchise that I love, I don't want to see it destroyed. And Spyglass did that with one swift move. They got upset over somebody speaking their mind, which is not the American way to do things. It's not. People are allowed to speak their opinions unless it's hateful, unless it incites violence. And there are people who've done that before and have gotten fired for that. And that makes sense. But you're going to fire someone over supporting a group of people, and then you're going to ruin one of the greatest horror franchises, up there with Halloween, up there with, I'd put it above Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, honestly, for me. But it's insanity, guys. And if you want to drop a comment and let me know what you guys think about all this. I know some people don't care about it. Some people don't care about the controversial part of it, that Spyglass can just fire people for supporting a group of people. And that's fine if you believe that. But go look at the finished product. Go look at the movie and see how terrible it is, and try to justify that. And some people will. Some people love the movie. Hey, if you loved it, great. I'll tell you, as someone who's seen a lot of movies, since I'm a film critic, I reviewed Scream 6. I'll tell you, it's just absolute garbage that I wouldn't accept in a Scooby Doo movie, let alone a Scream movie. And look, I love Scooby Doo. My son loves it. It was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. But it's not on the same tier as Scream as far as horror. It's a kids show, and it felt like a parody of Scooby Doo. I cannot wait for Scary Movie 6 because it has so much to parody. I hope they take plot points from Scream 7 to use because they have so much ammunition that original Scary Movie that hit so hard when it came out. I remember that, and I love Scream. A lot of people who love Scream love Scary Movie also. So I think Scary Movie 6 is going to be big if they do it right, if the Wayans brothers are back. So, there's a lot of things going on right now. There's Charger news going on. I'll be talking about Chargers soon. Free agency, the draft. Khalil Mack wants to come back for another year. He's open as a free agent to joining. It sounds like he's open. They make it sound like he's open to joining another team, but you got to believe that the Chargers are his number one destination if they pay him what he wants to be paid. So I'd love to see Mac back. We'll talk Chargers more later. But man, I'm just so sad about what has become of the Scream franchise. Wes Craven's rolling around in his grave right now, man. As someone who met Wes multiple times, as intelligent as he was, to see the stupidity of this franchise, to see it sink so low, he would hate to see it. I'll just tell you that. I'll just tell you that. And he was always upset about the failures he had as a director. The movie Cursed, the werewolf movie that was a bomb, the studio took it from him and chopped it up to something he didn't even recognize. And that movie failed, and he was always so upset because he said there was a good version in there. I would love to see the director's cut of Cursed, the way he described what happened in his version. It sounded amazing. There is no director's cut to find. They they destroyed the footage. I believe it's gone. So you don't have Wes Craven around to save Scream anymore. Apparently, Kevin Williamson has forgot how he wrote the original great Screams, or he was under pressure to do it too fast, or other writers came in, changed things. He's the director, though, so he should have a certain power over it. But I just, man, I love Scream. I don't want to see it come to this. And tell me your thoughts, guys. Let me know. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think Spyglass messed it up by firing Melissa and Jenna Ortega by proxy? But man, I gotta go, guys. My wife recently had our second son. It's a exciting time, and hey, love you guys. I'll see you soon. Peace.